everyone. So today I wanted to talk about a very touchy subject. I want to talk about racism, and what I wanted to cover is the fact that, first of all, it's just a little disclaimer: I am not racist, nor have I ever been, nor will I ever be. And in my personal view, I find racism to be very, very ignorant, and its display is just ignorant. I find it to be a form of ignorance. And what I wanted to cover is the fact that no matter what skin color you are in this world, no matter what ethnicity you are, no matter where you come from, you're still a human being. You have a right to be treated as such. The color of your skin should not dictate your presence in this world. And I just find that the reason I'm bringing this up is the last place that I worked, it seemed like there was a lot of racism going around, and it really seemed like I was being discriminated against because of my race, because I was outside of my environment, because I was not their nationality and not their color. Now, some might argue the fact that everyone has a bit of racism to some extent. I disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is you make the choice to be that way. That's not something that's incorporated into you. Now, I don't condone racism. I never have, and I never will. All I'm saying is judging people by the color of their skin, their nationality, their ethnicity, it doesn't make you any better than them, and you don't achieve anything out of it. You don't get some sort of special reward. You don't get ahead in life. Being racist doesn't pay, and I'm not advocating that you should go out and be racist, because there's a lot of it in this world, and to me it's very ignorant that people have to be that way when we're all human beings and we all have to live on this planet together. We all have to share it. We all have to breathe the same air. You may not like it, but that's the way it is. That's called human life. Now, you have two types of people in this world. Yes, I agree, there are many types of people in this world. And you have two types of people. You have humanitarians, and you have anti-humanitarians. Now, most of you already know what a humanitarian is. A lot of people don't know what an anti-humanitarian is. And this does play a role in many things. And when I say many things, this includes racism. And being anti-humanitarian means you're against humanity. Now, there are those in this world that are like that, and it's really sad that they have to be that way and judge people based off of skin, based off of money, based off of power, based off of off of some sort of social status, based off of, and when I say social status, I'm not talking about like Facebook or social media networks. I'm talking like first class citizen, second class citizen, third class citizen, and so forth. I don't believe in that kind of society. I don't believe that there should be that kind of caste system and that kind of, I want to say, social outlet. More or less like let me give you an example. If I saw a tourist that was applying for citizenship within the United States and they were from Africa, I would not consider them a third-class citizen because of their color of their skin. I would consider them a citizen, just like anyone else. And it would be like me going to Africa to get citizenship and then them doing the same to me. And no matter how you look at it, you know, if I was to consider them a third-class citizen, that wouldn't be right. And it certainly wouldn't be right for them to do it to me. So what I'm getting at is people should be treating other people equally. There are a lot of people in this world that don't understand that. What is so hard to understand about that? I mean, why the debate? Why the argument? It's like people can't let it go. And so they have to put the blame, or they have to make a joke, or they have to apply a label, and it's just very, to me, as human beings, it's very disrespectful. And I wouldn't treat my fellow humans that way. Granted, I know I've done a lot of things in my lifetime to not deserve respect, but when it comes to race, that's one thing I don't do. I don't do. I don't judge people based off of the color of their skin, their nationality, their ethnicity. And see, the last place I worked at, they had a lot of Native Americans, and I don't have any problem with Native American people, but because of other actions that were happening in the workplace, I found it very unacceptable. And it didn't even have to do with racism. It had to do with lying, it had to do with money, and it had to do with laws that were being broken, and basically no one believed me. And so instead, they tried to divert all the real problems into racism by calling me racist, by saying that I'm antisocial, that I've got some sort of social disorder, or that I'm always depressed, or, you know, I don't smile, or, you know, I'm just not happy. Well, obviously I wasn't happy because they weren't believing me, and they were applying all these labels to me. And for them to treat me that way, I just cannot fathom why they would have to be so it's not a hypocrisy, you know. I don't really think that being that way is right. And honestly, I would never go back to work for that company, because that company has a lot of problems, and they don't understand what's really going on underneath their own nose. And I won't work for them, but it just seems like they allow racism, they allow people to blackmail them, they allow people to lie to protect those people that are and were blackmailing them. And they might even go so far as to use the excuse of, oh, well, that was just a test, we wanted to see if you would say anything. Well, you know what, that could have been blown way out of proportion. And the fact that you had people lie to me on a regular basis, and then you had people constantly asking me my nationality, or constantly asking me questions that didn't even really concern them. You know, I just find it to be a form of racism, especially when a majority of the people that worked out there were not only Native, but they were Hispanic. And you know, when you're a minority and you're not in your environment, and those people start judging you, that starts making you feel like you're the target. And you know, when people were brought over to America from Africa, I understand, you know, what happened. I understand that, you know, there's a lot that shouldn't have happened, and it really shouldn't. And you know, I'm not saying that they don't belong here, because they do, like everyone else. But that's like the Native people saying that we don't belong here, and that this is their land. You know, that's not only selfish, but that's being very secluded and not open-minded. That's like saying, oh, well, we don't want you on our land, and I guarantee if we hadn't came over here, and even within the present day, they would have ended up over in the other countries, and history still would have been the same, if not reversed or mirrored. I just don't understand why people have to have this outlook because of higher powers or because of their mindset. People should be treated equally, evenly, and without judgment or persecution based off the color of their skin. Now, I'm not telling people to go and do that. I'm not saying that they need to or that they should in any aspect. But what I am saying is if you're working in a place and that you're pretty much outnumbered. And you feel like you're a minority. Some people might disagree with what I'm about to say, but you really should say something to your boss about it, and you really should say, well, I'm not going to tell you what to say, but you really should bring it to their attention, because honestly, they may not care, or they may act like they don't care, but it might open their eyes, and then they might understand that what they are doing isn't right either. And they really don't need to be doing it. Not that they should, they don't need to be doing it, they really don't. Because everyone breathes, to me, everyone breathes the same air. You live on a rock that floats in the middle of space, and it's got landmass, it's got all kinds of life on it, and yet you feel you have to judge people in any circumstance. You feel like it's your responsibility, and it's not. It's not. And I don't judge people, but I do point out certain little facts, and that's what bothers me. Because people think it's okay to do that. And honestly, it's not okay to do that. And to go around and think that way doesn't make you any better than they are. So why put yourself in their place by doing that? That's my question to you. Why would you put yourself in their place by passing judgment on someone else because of their race or the color of their skin? So, with that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching my videos, and stay tuned. Also, on another note, I may have a project coming up soon where I may start doing goth DIY projects on this channel. So I may make a playlist specifically for those projects. And I don't know how long that will be. I'm gonna have to check into that. But I would just like to say thank you for the hangout the other night. It was great, and stay tuned for my videos. Thank you.